Alright, Mike G here. Just about to give you my UFC 111 picks. Hopefully you get this up before the first couple of prelims come on Spike here. I'm not going to do an analysis on these first few fights, just so that I can ensure that I get this video up there before the fights actually start. First fight, I got Matt Brown taking on Almeida. I got Matt Brown winning that fight by TKO. Next fight, Nate Diaz stepping up to 170, fighting Rory Markham. I guess Markham had some weight issues, so that's going to be a catchweight fight. I got Diaz subbing him regardless. Then we'll move on to the main card. First fight, we got Jim Miller versus Mark Bocek. I don't really care much for this fight. I think Jim Miller is just going to outclass Bocek. Bocek's got a great ground game, don't get me wrong, but Miller's solid on the ground too, and I think he'll destroy him on the feet as well. So I got Jim Miller taking Bocek out. I think he'll end up TKOing him. If not, then I don't think he'll get a sub on him. If he does, that'll be impressive, but it's either going to be a TKO or a decision, but Miller for sure on that one. Next, we got John Fitch facing Ben Saunders. First, I want to say I hope Thiago Alves gets better. I was looking forward to that rematch. John Fitch, I thought, still was going to take Alves by decision there. But, I hope Alves can even fight after this. It seems like he'll be okay after he has this surgery on his brain. But, my thoughts go out to Thiago Alves. He's a solid fighter. As for this fight, I think Ben Saunders, I was ready to write him off before his last fight. And then he just completely dominated Marcus Davis. Davis, he's not, a world-class opponent, but he's tough regardless. Those knees are pretty deadly out of Ben Saunders. But Fitch, he's, 11-1 now in the UFC. He's had a couple of boring fights here lately, but he comes out every time and he gets that win. So I'm going to have him decisioning Ben Saunders. I don't think he'll finish him, but I don't think Ben Saunders will catch him with a knee either. I think Fitch has too much... He's got too much experience over Ben Saunders, but I think Ben Saunders shouldn't be penalized too heavily once he loses this. If he loses this, you never know, he could win. But if he comes out and wins or loses this fight, I think he should still get a decent fight after this. He took this fight against what's considered the second best welterweight in the world on a couple days' notice. So props to him, but I still think he's going to lose a decision here. We got Kurt Pellegrino taking on Fabricio Camos. I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm just going to say what it looks like. But not too excited for this fight. It got bumped up because of Jake Ellenberger having to drop out to make way for Fitch Saunders. But I think Pellegrino will take a decision on that. Pellegrino hasn't really finished too many people in the UFC. He's not too exciting of a fighter. He's a hard worker, but not one of my favorite guys, but I think he'll take this one by decision. We'll move on to the big fights. We got Mir and Carwin next. This one for me is tough because Mir seems like the solid favorite, but Shane Carwin's no slouch. He's never made it past the third minute of the first round of a fight, and Gabriel Gonzaga, he's a tough opponent, and Carwin took the best shot Gonzaga had to take, and he kept firing back, and then he brutally knocked him out as well. I think Carwin definitely has that chance to take Mir on the feet. I don't think he's as technical as Mir, but I know he's definitely got more power than Mir. That being said, I think the big fight experience that Mir has is going to help him. I think him bulking up as well is going to give him some power. If he lands on top of Carwin and he's in a dangerous position, I think Carwin's in trouble. I don't know how good his sub defense, but I got Mir winning regardless. I think he'll sub him, but if not, then I see him outworking him for a decision maybe. But I think I see a sub coming out of that, so I'll say Mir by a sub, most likely a choke. Now we'll move on to my boy GSP, his first fight back in 8 months. It's been crazy without him there. Layoff of 8 months. Even he had a big break there between Fitch and BJ Penn, but that was only August to January. This has been 8 months with this this groin injury he's got with that dominant victory over Thiago Alves over Dan Hardy. Dan Hardy. What do I have on him? I like Dan Hardy. I like him as a fighter. I think he played up his bad guy role a lot in that UFC primetime. I'm not going to hold too much of that against him. You know, he's got to play the role of the villain. I'm sure he enjoys that, and it's entertaining, so why not? You know, you got to make some kind of way to try and sell tickets, and I'm sure he's doing it. That being said, I think GSP is going to completely outclass him. Hardy is 4-0 in the UFC, but against, Swick was his toughest opponent. GSP, I had a dream the other night that he's going to knock Hardy out in the first round. I'm not going to stick with that. That was just, a dream. I think I'm going to stick with GSP finishing Hardy either in the second or third round by a sub. I don't know about Hardy's ground game. I guess we're going to find out tonight. After this is over, I'll still be rooting for Hardy. I like him as a fighter, but again, GSP is just going to outclass him. GSP, obviously, favorite fighter. I think GSP is just going to definitely outclass him, and that is pretty much all I have to say on that. I hope somehow that after this, Hardy and Koscheck could get it on in the cage somehow pretty soon here, because that is a bad blood match, and I hope that comes up next. GSP, if he wins this, he's been dancing around it a lot, but I want to see him go after Anderson Silva. That'd be a good fight. So this is my first time ever doing these picks on here. Go ahead, and if you don't like it, you don't like the video, you don't like the picks, go ahead, comment on them. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say. If you liked it, cool, let me know. I'll keep doing these. I might not be the most entertaining guy on YouTube, but I know my UFC I've been watching for life. So if you guys like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know as well. Either way, I'll probably keep doing these, but it's my UFC 111 picks. Go watch the fights. Thanks.